On this tour, you're seeing a different side of Idaho. You're gonna see stuff that pretty much 99% of the world more would never see. Tour of Idaho riders are the only ones that are using the trail.
When I started thinking about the Tour of Idaho 10 years ago, the first version of it 10 years ago this year was mostly just a way to find a dirt way the length of Idaho. That's all we were out to do. And every year we fine-tune it and we've made it, in my opinion, better. And when we found this trail a few years ago, this was sort of this was just the icing on the cake. It's trails like this that are remote and beautiful. And if you're lucky enough to ever be able to ride something like this once in your entire life, I think you did good.
Martin, you want to come over here and give me an approval or just laugh at me from a distance? Actually, I'm not wearing this. I'm wrapping this thing up and stowing it.
That is a nice looking rig. So
what are the odds? You gonna throw some
100%.
odds? Really?
Yeah, I have my batting average is 1,000 at predictions at the beginning of the route.
Oh, okay.
I can look at the bike and in 10 seconds I can form my own generally private opinion about the odds of success. This isn't like 10,000 laps around a track somewhere. You know, you're way out in the woods, you're way in the middle of nowhere. So the premium is on making sure that your stuff's all together, stuff's not going to fall off your bike, things aren't going to break that don't have to. You're not carrying a bunch of stuff that you don't need. That's what I'm looking at.
Except for all those video cameras. Okay, I'm Jimmy Lewis, and I'm about to ride my dirt bike predominantly on dirt trails across the state of Idaho. It's supposed to take about 9 days, and I don't have a real plan other than I know where I'm going. I'll stop for gas and stop for some food. So I met up with my videographer buddy Will. He was up in Idaho riding, and I said, hey, you want to shoot this thing? So the idea was he would hop in his van and maybe drive and meet me out in the middle of nowhere, or he'd just ride with me in the morning, then ride back to his van and meet me at the end of the day just to shoot all the footage. The terrain is super diverse. I mean, you're kind of in kind of rolling hills, cattle pastures, stuff like that down south, but we're also right away right up to 9,000 and 10,000 foot peaks, you know, then back down to 3,000 and 4,000 foot valleys. So you ride a lot of ridges and cross valleys and cross deserts. Why am I doing this? I really like riding dirt bikes. Motorcycles are fun. I've raced all over the world, have been riding my whole life. Martin has done a ton of planning to put this together, and now it's up to me to go see if I can, you know, stitch it all together and have a good time doing it.
Yeah. It tickles me to death. You know, I've worked on this for 10 years, and every time somebody goes, I know they're going to have fun, and that's what I care about. I want people to have fun. You know, life's short and you're dead a long time, and this is the kind of thing that makes what goes on in between those 2 points worthwhile. And the cool thing about today is I'm watching a guy that I have respected the whole time I've known what motorcycles are, riding a route that I had something to do with putting together, and it's a pretty good day.
Idaho is awesome because there is still enough access to public lands, and there are still motorized recreation trails that we can get through, whether it's Jeep roads or quad trails or motorcycle single track. And some of this stuff is so far out that it only gets ridden by a few people a year. So there could be, you know, down trees, cutting trees, washed out trails, things like that, where you have to figure out how to get through it or take the time to get through. I think that's part of the challenges. And then plus riding day after day, you know, long days and not making mistakes, not riding off cliffs. Yeah, so day one, just getting started. We're up here on the ridge, starting to hit the little high spots in between the low spots, and bike's working perfect. This is what I've been dreaming about doing for about 2 years now. So I'm out and rolling. I think that every rider should take off on the first day and go straight into the first challenge section. It's gonna give you a gauge of what the rest of the challenge sections are like. So if you have a problem in that first challenge section, like if it beats you up or you're crashing and having problems in there, you might wanna rethink about doing the Tour of Idaho. You might wanna go bone up on some skills.
Well, we're gonna go out and meet Jimmy and ride back into town with him. He should be coming up over the ridge right up behind the farm here in a few minutes. And we'll all go out and say, hey, he's the first guy through this year.
I knew I needed to do the challenge section just to see where things stood, so I did. And then later on, I'm riding along and my bike just stops. I mean, just cold turkey. And I'm like, what is wrong? That's weird. So I just had my first issue. Fuel pump stopped working for some reason. So just pulled the seat, unplugged it, plugged it in. It made fuel pump noise again. Uh-oh.
So he must have had a lot of trouble with his fuel pump because he got way off the route, went in, got back up on the route, and he's farther back than I thought.
Actually, it wasn't a fuel pump issue. It was the ECU. The plug in the ECU came undone. So I'm not sure whether the seat squished it and caused it to come undone or just wasn't plugged in. I've never touched it, so it's kind of strange to have it plugging in and out. But just a little diagnosis, pulled some wires and checked on things and really sort of got lucky. Or just systematically got lucky and figured it out. Back on the road. Good light by top 3.
How's it going?
I had a little fuel pump issue. Actually, it was my whole ECU came unplugged. I fiddled with it and I cut some sheaths of wiring because I'd wiggle it, it'd come back to life. And I just kept pushing. All of a sudden I pulled the cover off and then the clip had come undone. It was just sitting in the thing, so.
You guys ready for beer?
Yeah. You have it with you?
No.
Oh. Then I guess I'm not ready. I'll have to wait a little bit longer.
You got 5 minutes left.
Yeah, I know. Gotta stop at the mailbox. Keep register all the people that come through. A great day. You know what I gotta do? I gotta put a sticker on the inside of that box someplace. There we go. Well, day 2 is the desert. Well, yesterday you always knew you're coming back to the truck, so you could maybe change, because you have most of your stuff. You could change something up. You know, if you had or didn't have anything, you could drop some stuff off and say, I won't need this. But I think my kit, I'm taking everything I left with yesterday. It's all the same. One less can of Spam. It says something about the world's mellowest motorcycle single track just as your coffee is kicking in and the sun is coming up. Uh-oh. We're too late. I think we're started late again. here. The second year I did Dakar, I had pretty much 2 sets of clothes for 21 days. And I think my record was, it was like 12 days without an actual shower. I think I got some wet towels in between there, but so I don't think anything can compare to that. There's when you're working, there's a certain crust that forms on you. Not pretty. So this is gonna be easy. These socks are marked right and left. You can see. When I looked at them this morning, I wanted to put them on the right ones. You can see how good I did. I never get lost, but I don't know my right from my left. I'm sure we'll see you out in the desert someplace. Took a long time to get out to the desert. I mean, it wasn't until like in the middle of the afternoon. And I thought that the desert was going to be fast and easy, and it ended up being very sandy and very challenging on the navigation. You know, you've gone from forest trails where it's a very established trail to like kind of riding through blow sand in the desert and sand hoops, and then you get to drop your bike off the cliff. So ride down a little cliff and more sand dunes. And I like that. I actually like that little challenge. I like riding through the sand dune. Choppy rocks, lots of gates. I opened up, I want to say over 20 gates today. The desert section was a little bit of a beater. The morning, actually I was wondering when the desert was going to start, because you're a good 120 miles into it in the morning. And then gassed up, full tank of gas, and right into the sand. The riding was a lot more than I expected it was going to be. It had some fun little sections when we got over to that dune and that little drop-off thing. That was a good time. But getting there and getting out of there was, it's not the best riding. This one's not going to rank as one of my favorite days for sure. But I'm enjoying it. Looking forward to getting into Arco, getting some food, and getting a good night's sleep. Got a nice little hotel, nice little bed. Then I made the decision that we were going to start doing a little bit more than a day. So we had to get up and have an early start the next morning. So day 3, I've decided that we're going to do a day and a half today. We're going to stretch it out. So got up early, fun fast roads for the first part, some brilliant ATV trail, really scenic passes. Threw in this little, not much of a side detour. It was about, really, at Cherby's office was about 200 yards off the trail. I picked up a headlight for Will, our photographer, so in case we got stuck out at night, his Husky would be able to get him back in and I wouldn't have to worry about him that much. Okay, first real stream or river crossing, and it's kind of risk management is really what it is. I mean, if you were smart, because this could end your tour real quick, or it could get all your stuff soaking wet if you happen to fall in it. And so smart would, you know, maybe get off and walk next to the bike on the downhill side, but since we're filming it, I guess I'm gonna ride across, right? So I've been looking at it. I think I got a good line, and I'm prepared to get my legs wet, but hopefully nothing else. Side up.
Yeah. Yep.
This never really got in. This was down, but I think it's pretty waterproof on its own. Oh yeah. As soon as it went down, I came up and got a footing. And then you get into some of the best trails Idaho has to offer. And you're just scratching the surface of that area over in Warm Springs and on the backside of Smiley Creek. I guess it was about 60 miles of kind of mostly single track up through some really fun technical trails, up over a ridge, Railroad Pass, Railroad Ridge, the highest point on the tour. So, we are at the top of the Tour of Idaho, 10,424 feet according to my GPS, so we'll call it 10.5, round up a little bit, but unbelievable day. I'll bet you want to know what happened at the creek. Well, let me put it, about halfway through the creek, I decided that it's been a while since I've had a shower. My gear was kind of dirty. I would have told you straight up that's what I was thinking, but I didn't think about it till about the middle. And so I just, you know, the bike had some cow poop on it and my gear was getting a little stiff, so I just set her down, like gently. Okay, that excuse didn't work. And then dropped down and stayed at the Sawmill where you can get gas, but you can't get a room. So I got a hammock out and tented it. So I rode 284 miles today. Today was supposed to be 100 and I forget, 106, 100 and it doesn't make any sense. It just, at this point, it's just like you just get up and you ride to where you're going to go to. So 180, it was 180 here because I did 180 on the last tank of gas. So we went 80 extra miles. Yeah, it's all a blur. So today, day 4, I was awoken by the rain. So a little alarm clock, a little wet, but I managed to get all my stuff, my gear on and my stuff covered underneath the truck, so it didn't get too wet. And but I needed an early start anyways because we had to basically do another day and a half. Top of the mountain, got a good 360-degree view all the way through the mountains this morning in the rain. Back up. I think this is the high point for today, maybe. actually maybe, no, because we're still, no, that's the road right there. So we're up in here. All of a sudden there's a lot less points on the GPS, and they're not exactly on the track a lot of times. So when you get to some place that's a little bit confusing and then they're off the track, then you can't, the trails, you can't find the trail. And then it's a lot of trail too. I don't think doubling up days is a good idea. I would rather not. This was an interesting mountain gate. I'll show you how it works when I go put it back together.
A trail's an organic thing. It's a living thing, just like the things around it. So you got to go in here and take care of it. There's some maintenance that needs to be done. So we got a log here we're going to cut out. One of many hundreds, if not thousands, that you have to take care of to keep a trail like this open. The trail's 1,500 miles long, and the health of the forest all throughout the Intermountain West these days is not what it once was, so there's a lot of deadfall. There were days when I would ride into a place, saw, turn around, come back, and I'd have to saw my way back out. The trees would have fallen in behind me. 9,000. Last year, I probably all by myself sawed out 100, 150 trees. Well, now I'm going to go check out one of my favorite spots in the whole trail, the Hat Creek Lakes Trail. Specifically Hat Creek. We're at the pass just before Hat Creek Lakes right now. It's a pretty awesome place. Hope mosquitoes don't give us that.
Martin?
What's up, man?
Not much. I knew you'd be out here sawing.
Did you like it?
You got those last two big ones. That was nice. That would have been a handful on the switchback, I'm sure.
How was that side hill and coming up the West Fork of Morgan Creek? Was that slick?
No, it wasn't bad. What was bad in there? Oh, it was the waypoints that were, the waypoints, the intersections. The thing is, if you understand how this works, you figure it out quick. Mm-hmm. But when you go like down the wrong trail and it has two nasty switchbacks, and then you realize, oh shoot, I'm the wrong way, because GPS doesn't really work that well when you're not moving. Right, yeah. And you're not moving when you're stuck on the side of a mountain, but that was good. And then the trail's really faint. There were some places there was absolutely no trail at all. So
when I was coming in, I didn't see any of the tracks. Probably in a lot of cases, especially over in that West Fork area, I'd be willing to bet more than I can afford to lose that you're the first guy through.
Most places there's a track or two, especially when you're closer to the town.
Okay, see you at the end of the ride.
Albeit rocky, single track up to some lakes. Ran into Martin. He was out there cutting some logs. Thanks for that. Thanks for all the guys that are cutting logs. Even all day today was you saw a lot of evidence of trail work, and it made it so you could go through. I would still be out there if those logs were on the ground, carrying my bike over or hand sawing. Went across some beautiful lake views, and then it was an easy, 40 or 50 miles of roads into Shoup. Got to Shoup, got a beer, got some gas out of the oldest continuously operating fuel pump in the United States. It's great that it's back there. I mean, because it's the launching point into the next big long section. It needs to be there for the adventure bikes, or you're going to have to go all the way out to Salmon to get gas, another 30 or 40 miles.
Yeah. These feet need to air out.
Eat, sleep, ride, repeat. Eat, sleep, ride, repeat. When I was doing longer races like Dakar, and that's all you did. You don't have to worry about what your email is telling you or what the weather conditions are, because you can't change it. Today it's kind of, I guess Martin classifies it as being sort of a boring day on the tour, or not a boring day, an easy day on the tour, because there really isn't a whole lot of trail. It goes through this thing called the Magruder Corridor, which is a Frank Church wilderness, right along the edge of one of the big rivers and stuff. So It's the only way through, and it's really adventure bike territory because they you need 200 miles, 200 plus miles of fuel range to get through there. So on a smaller, dirt bike, you don't have that kind of range. This is how I keep myself running. I've got my these are like lots of vitamins in here. I don't know if any of this stuff works. I just take it and it makes me feel good.
Got everything you need, Jimmy?
I think so. Man, thanks a lot for the stay. It was awesome.
Very welcome.
Hey, so what's the story with these gas pumps?
I mean, they were made around the 20s, but these pumps were put in the 40s. I mean, these are priceless because they are the oldest working commercial gas pumps in the country.
And in reality, what makes you have a store out here in the middle of nowhere?
The original store was actually founded in 1892 as one of the original buildings when the town was founded. It was a big mining town. I mean, one of the richest gold mines is in the lower 48 is actually right over the hill.
And now you get a lot of rafting, recreation, yeah?
Yep, our summer, we have 3 seasons here. Our spring and fall are fishing and hunting seasons. And then our summer season is mainly summer rafting, and then you guys with the Tour of Idaho come along, and so you guys help us out a lot.
And you make some good food, pizza especially. I'm liking the pizza because I got one left over in the back for lunch.
Horse Creek Lookout. Man, 360-degree views of a lot of land. In this last little bit of nice sunshine, I'd stop at a beautiful location, have a little lunch. I got my pizza from last night, and yeah, make the most of it, and then maybe prepare to get wet. So it rains just enough to get you a little bit wet, a little chilly, and then it goes away and turns into
So down tree, there's a lot of those, but make it easier. You can go around some of them, but some of them you gotta saw them. Pretty uneventful day, except for the pounding rain on the way in through the final ATV trails. I think I was dodging the thunder showers all day, but they finally caught me at the end, and I came in a little wet. Oh yeah, I got the key. Day 6, Lowell to Lockshot Lodge. We stayed next to a nice river on a really sleepy little resort. It's remote. I mean, these kind of one-stop towns with just like a little, maybe one place to eat, maybe one place to get gas, and some cabins or something. And this place is sort of, seems like it's halfway shut down again. The river's real low, so they're not running raft trips and stuff. So we're also on a little bit of a delay because the gas station in Lowell, Idaho doesn't really open up until, we don't know, like 8 or so-ish. And yesterday we did the longest section on a single tank of gas. lookout here, obviously it looks like it burnt down. And we're at one of the special challenges, Fish Creek Trail. And the challenges on the Tour of Idaho are basically just alternate routes that are a little to a lot more difficult. And you know, having never ridden some of them, you just don't know what you're getting into. And it says the Fish Creek Trail can be crazy intimidating depending on conditions and your proclivities. It is one of the more difficult special challenges. You've been warned. It's a short day, and I mean, I'm feeling fine and everything's good. It's not wet, or I mean, the traction's perfect, so I'm gonna go ahead and go for it and see how it plays out. Yeah, nice trail, perfect weather, great day. It wasn't difficult in, like, you know, riding difficulty or technical. It was just exposure. Lots of ridges where you're looking down, you know, a few hundred feet down, and sometimes you have to go up a rock stair and around a sharp turn, so you can't really have any speed, and then big cliff. Yeah, so about halfway through the day, it's a nice mellow day, and looking forward to camping out tonight because it looks like the weather's going to cooperate. Okay, so it happened. I thought it was going to continue on just being another brilliant day, and like 3 miles up this thing, I clipped a rock and bike's off the side of the trail. So did a little recovery, did a little trail maintenance, got the bike back up, went another 5 miles, and then I got into some rocks did a belly flop off the side of the cliff, essentially. Luckily, after you fall off a cliff, you have a little bit of adrenaline in you, so I used that to do the inverted bike push-up and got her back straightened out, and then got her out of there.
Not even a challenge section.
Then I had some navigational challenges on another really brilliant trail later on. Fun flowing trail. I actually saw some other riders out there. Miles, is that what they said, huh? How many hours? 8? Easy 8 hours? Yeah. Lookouts and wipeouts. Let's call day, was it day 6? Lookouts and wipeouts. I like riding motorcycles a lot, and maybe not that much dished out in one serving. Day 7 for me was Lockshaw to Wallace. The boots are still pretty damp. Everything's damp. So I just get another day or 2. But start pretty semi-fresh. I'd give it up. Even having an idea. Said 180 miles. So I'm gonna guess 190. Just really hoping that today it doesn't mimic yesterday. I don't think it will. But hey, you know, it's all, you know, it's all what you make of it. You know, I made the best of it. My bike's good. I think I got 2 more days left in the tires. mix of fire roads and single track trail, but some of the best single track on the tour. Definitely challenging at times. There was some switchbacks and a lot of overgrown, you know, with grass and ruts, you know, where you had to really kind of keep your head screwed on. Described as having a lot of single track and some technical sections as well. Man, the scenery today is just unbelievable.
So the funny thing about right now is I think we are right on the state line. This is State Line Trail that I've just been riding on, and that's Montana, and this is Idaho, and yeah, I think Montana got the good lakes. Day 8, 7 on our schedule is it's a good one. It's making up for yesterday. It's there's been a little bit of trail, not a ton, but it's been challenging. But when you get up to places like this, it's worth all the effort. Okay, onward.
Small town. GPS track will prove invaluable. Maze of logging runs. Chris House. It says they have a problem with the GPS today. It's the first. This is the first time they've said you could have a problem with your GPS. It's not really problems with the GPS. It's a problem with where the track log is on the ground. The GPS is functioning properly. Ruby Ridge. Heard about that in the news a few years back, didn't we? Let's see. Dueling banjos. These walls could talk, huh? Morning, sunshine. Like I said, I'm still constantly surprised by the difficulty of the trails that Martin threw into this thing. Because there's some difficult ones, and I mean, for I'm here. Let me pat myself on the back, man. They're even hard for me, but I mean, for a regular dude on a loaded up bike, they're tough. Tour of Idaho, finished. It's all done. Well over 1,000 miles. Safe and sound. Happy. Right on. Tour of Idaho. I guess it's around 1,400 miles is what the claim is. Probably 60% what we call trails, that's ATV width or single track. 40% dirt roads, and 10% pavement, maybe not even 10%. but it's kind of more on time. You know, you don't really think about actual mileage, it's about how much time you're on. I think it's tougher than a lot of people give it credit for. You know, I know there's a real active group on the internet that's following it and checking on it and trying to decide what they want to do it, and I'd say go for it. I think you should challenge yourself, because it will. It's you know, it's an undertaking to say I'm going to go ride my motorcycle for 9 days. Every day there's a challenge, whether it's on the trail or whether it's with your bike or your body. It's, you know, your mental state. In being finished, it's kind of weird, because it's been eat, ride, sleep, repeat. Eat, ride, sleep, repeat, and now you're just done. And so you're going, what do I do now? the rhythm's broken. I go back to the real world. Now it's back to like, oh, well, I gotta check my email and answer the phone, and do stuff like that. So, yeah, good times. There really wasn't a lot of dust or anything, so. Still good. No, it needs to be cleaned. it could use a cleaning. Glorious.
Now we see how waterproof the bags are. Even the cows like this.